Hello, I'm Paul Probst, president of Jordy Canid and the inventor of the BlindSight device. And this video is about receiving your BlindSight, getting it unpacked, getting the battery hooked up, and getting it ready to go on your dog. Okay, so when you open your box, after you've taken everything out of the box, put the paperwork on the side. All right, that will include your warranty and stuff like that, things you probably want to read. But to see how to actually get this going, it's probably easier to use this video. Okay, so you'll have this. This is the BlindSight unit itself. This silver disc in the middle is what emits the ultrasound that the dog uses. It's a very complex pulse that's designed to not only give the dog some distance and direction information, but actually the dog can get information from this that will tell about size, texture, elevation. Anyway, so now let's get this thing. Oh, and you're going to have these with it. Now you may have one or two packages. You may have a hardware package like this, and a separate one with a little neoprene pad in it. I'll explain that in a while. Or the neoprene pad may actually be in this one. Okay? This is extra hardware. You see the rings on it. There's extra ring, extra attachment points, extra screws for the front, even extra bolt and plastic-filled nut in case you lose one of those. Hang on to this. You're going to have this. This unit is designed for a 10-year plus service life, which is why it's literally so ugly. This thing was designed. The BlindSight was designed with a long service life in mind around the dog. That's also why it's not painted. Even the ceramic coatings that are used on some aluminum firearms aren't liable to last around the dog's neck for 10 years. So, on the other hand, this is extremely corrosion resistant, and all the small hardware is stainless steel. So here we go. We're going to open this up now to connect the battery or batteries. First, you remove these 4 632 by ½ inch countersink head screws, flatheads, which are in the corners of the unit. They hold the front panel assembly with that transducer. That's this thing here, piece right there. They hold that to the main case assembly, which is the part that has the rings and stuff. So now we get these screws out of the way, and we're going to lay the unit open. You notice it popped open as I took the screws out. That's because this thing has a resilient neoprene liner in it. Let's see. I'm going to open it this way. All right. You can see the back of the transducer. Here's these little connectors, so you can replace the front panel in case the transducer goes bad. You can replace it very quickly. Here's that little piece of neoprene I was talking about. The electronics are under that. Now you have two battery holders here. One is marked white. That's only used when you're using two batteries. You see there's little white markings on this thing. Okay, so here's a little bit closer up image of the BlindSight unit. You'll find two sets of battery clips. A battery will be in it, or just one battery. This is the clip that goes to that battery. If you want to use a second battery, which could be used if a dog's particularly hard of hearing, or a dog spends a lot of time outside, it'll need more power to be emitted from the device for the dog to really be able to image what its surroundings. I'm just going to install a single battery. There's the battery. You have to pry it out of the neoprene, okay? Male to female, right? It's a common transistor radio battery. Now, the battery comes with it. It's going to be alkaline, only good to about 4 below. If you're in part of the country where it routinely gets colder than in the winter, you might consider putting a lithium battery in. They last 3 or 4 times as long. Battery like this will last over a year. Lithium battery, you're looking at 3 years plus. Although I think around here the lithium batteries are about $8 each. They're good to 40 below, by the way. Now, if you're going to put another battery right away, you would take this clip off, and you put the second battery here, connect this set of clips to that one. All right. This battery is not needed except for higher power applications. That's what it's here for. Outdoors or for dogs who need a little more sound. Now, this is running right now since I hooked up these the battery clip here. It's running. You can't hear it. I can check it by lifting it up to my, let's see, get it up to my ear here. Okay, it's a very, very faint tick. That's what's supposed to be there. And now we put it together. to put this back together, again, it's going to have to press because there's a neoprene liner in here. Really holds stuff tight. You try to put the battery connector, or the connectors to the front panel, these pink things, one towards the top of the unit, one towards the bottom of the unit. And then look around. Make sure there's no wires pinched anywhere. All right. And then just press, let's see here. Just press the top back in place and make sure it will sit down all the way in. No wires punched. Okay. Now, we'll put these screws back in. And I'll tighten them. I'm just going to get them in here first just to get this thing compressed in place. This unit doesn't rattle, never does rattle, because it's everything is pressed so tightly in place. This is designed for 10-year plus service life, as I mentioned before. Nothing was done for cosmetics with this unit. It is just plain rugged. Something that fell off a tank. It's I think one of the first people helping us said it looked like it fell off a T-34. And it's certainly that kind of rugged. Okay, now it's running, the case is closed, and it's ready to go on the dog. Now when you put this on a dog, you don't want to use the same collar that you use to attach a leash, because that will splint the BlindSight unit all over the place and it will destroy the dogs temporarily, their ability to use their ears to image what's going on around them. So here we have an ordinary dog collar. We'll take this one, put it through the loops, all right? Then it would simply go around the dog's neck, okay? Now here's where these things serve their purpose. So I'll show you a little bit how this. You notice that even though I have the collar turned sideways, the unit is sitting level. I can turn the collar every which way, and the unit sits pretty much pointed at the horizon. That's what we want. When this is around the dog's neck, we want this to stay pointed at the horizon. So about the only time it won't do that is when the dog lays on its side, then it'll be sitting like this. And so far, every dog we've checked this with has been able to sleep with it on. So even though the sound it makes could be described as quite loud to a dog, it's a very short pulse, extremely short, so it doesn't interfere with the dog's rest normally. So here we go. We put it on the dog, and we're ready to go. There's no special training needed with the dog, except you might want to put a leash on the dog and walk it around its normal environment, including outside where it goes, slowly. Okay? Typically the dogs are fascinated with the sound they're getting back from this thing, and dogs who are used to just running and crashing in things, blind dogs, will frequently slow down and they'll sort of scan. They'll move their heads and their chests around, sort of looking at their environment. Typically it takes 3 days for them to get used to it. You can expect collisions from your dog within the first 3 days normally. By the time they're in about 3 weeks, typically they're not really crashing into much anymore. You still want to have a prepared environment for the blind dog, and I'll talk about that in another video. But at this point, you're pretty much ready to go. But got it on the dog, and that's all there is to it. Everything else that's important at this point, really, except for preparing the dog's environment, is going to be done by the dog. They're going to learn how to use this. Contrary to what you find in some older books, dogs do echolocate. What they can't do is make the complex sounds that a bat or a dolphin or something might use to do useful echolocation. Basically, all we do here is we provide a mechanical device, electrical device, that can produce those sounds so the dog can use them. Okay, that's pretty much it for the initial unpacking, assembly, connecting the batteries, applying it to the dog. There's other videos here. We're going to talk about the origin unit and how dogs will use this as they, the cycle they go through of the learning curve, let's say, of how to use the device. And dogs do vary widely. Some dogs will use the device instinctively as soon as you put it on them. Some it will take from a couple days to several weeks for them to fully adapt. Dogs are all different. But if your dog has high frequency hearing and it's blind, they should be able to use the BlindSight. So far, every dog that we've tried has been able to do that.